The world moves in patterns unseen, like the quiet swirl of leaves on a forest floor, carried by a wind that whispers secrets only the earth can understand. You stand at the center of this vast, intricate dance, your life a thread woven into the fabric of existence. Nothing happens by chance, though it may seem so in the moment. Every breath, every step, every encounter is part of a greater harmony, a symphony of interconnected moments that ripple outward, touching everything in their path. Can you feel it? The subtle pull of the universe, guiding you, shaping you, even when the path feels uncertain. Imagine a field of wildflowers, each one blooming in its own time, yet all part of the same meadow. One flower does not question why it opens in the shadow of a tree while another basks in the sun. It simply grows, rooted in the soil, drawing nourishment from the same earth. You too are growing in ways you may not yet understand. The challenges you face, the joys you experience, each has its place in the unfolding of your life. There is no need to resist or to strive for something other than what is. The field does not demand that the flowers grow faster or taller. It simply allows them to be. When you look back on your life, do you see the threads that connect the moments? The seemingly random event that led you to a new path, the chance encounter that brought a lifelong friend, the loss that opened your heart to a deeper understanding of love. These are not accidents but signposts, guiding you toward the essence of who you are. The universe speaks in a language of synchronicity, weaving meaning into the fabric of your days. It is up to you to listen, to notice, to trust. There is a quiet wisdom and acceptance in allowing life to flow as it will. The river does not fight against its banks. It moves with grace, carving its way through the landscape. It does not ask why the mountain stands in its path or why the valley offers rest. It simply flows, knowing that every bend, every ripple is part of its journey. You too can move with this same ease, trusting that the current of your life will carry you where you need to go. And yet there are moments when the flow feels distant, when the weight of the world presses down on your shoulders. In these times, it is easy to forget the interconnectedness of all things, to feel isolated, adrift. But even in the stillness, there is movement. The roots of a tree grow deep into the earth, unseen yet essential. The stars continue their silent dance, their light reaching across the vastness of space. You are never truly alone, even when the path feels dark. The universe holds you in its embrace, a quiet reminder that you are part of something greater. Think of the seasons, each one a reflection of life's cyclical nature. The winter may feel barren, the earth cold and unyielding, but beneath the surface, seeds are preparing to sprout. Spring brings renewal, the summer abundance, the autumn release. Each season has its purpose, its place in the rhythm of life. Your own seasons, too, have their meaning. The moments of struggle, of joy, of stillness, they are all part of your journey. There is no need to rush or to hold on too tightly. The seasons will come and go, and with them, the lessons they bring. In the quiet moments when the noise of the world fades away, you may sense the deeper truth that everything is connected, that every moment is a thread in the tapestry of your life. The choices you make, the paths you follow, the people you meet, they are all part of this intricate design. There is no need to seek meaning outside of yourself. It is already within you, waiting to be uncovered. The universe does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. The sun rises and sets, the tides ebb and flow, the seasons change. There is a natural rhythm to life, a flow that carries you forward. You do not need to know the destination to trust the journey. The river does not need to see the sea to know it is moving in the right direction. It simply flows, and in its flow, it finds its way. You too can find your way, even when the path is unclear. There is a quiet strength in surrender, in letting go of the need to control, to understand. The universe is vast, its wisdom beyond comprehension, and yet it speaks to you in a language of connection, of synchronicity, of love. All you need to do is listen, to trust, to allow. In this moment, as you read these words, you are part of the flow. The breath you take, the thoughts you hold, the feelings that arise, they are all part of the greater whole. Nothing happens by chance, though it may seem so. Everything is connected, everything has its place. Can you feel it? The subtle pull of the universe, guiding you, shaping you, even when the path feels uncertain. You are not separate from the world, but deeply woven into its fabric. The challenges you face, the joys you experience, they are all part of the unfolding of your life. There is no need to resist or to strive for something other than what is. The field does not demand that the flowers grow faster or taller. It simply allows them to be. And so, you too can simply be. Trust the flow, the rhythm, the interconnectedness of all things. The universe is vast, its wisdom beyond comprehension. And yet it speaks to you in a language of connection, of synchronicity, of love. All you need to do is listen, to trust, to allow. You sit quietly, perhaps in a moment of stillness, and the world around you hums with a rhythm that feels both familiar and mysterious. The air carries the faint scent of earth after rain, and the light filters through the leaves in patterns that seem to dance just for you. In this moment, you might wonder, is this all random or is there something more? The thought lingers, soft and insistent, like the distant call of a bird you cannot see. And so, you begin to sense it, the invisible threads that weave through everything, connecting what seems separate, binding what appears to drift apart. Nothing happens by chance. Everything is connected. This is not a rule imposed from above, but a truth that emerges from the very fabric of existence, as natural as the turning of the seasons or the flow of a river finding its way to the sea. Consider the way a single leaf falls from a tree. It does not fall in isolation. The wind that carries it, the branch that releases it, the soil that will receive it, all are part of a vast, intricate dance. The leaf's journey is not random. It is a response to forces both seen and unseen, a small but essential movement in the symphony of life. And so it is with you. Every thought, every action, every moment of stillness is part of a larger pattern, a tapestry so vast and complex that its full design is beyond your comprehension. Yet you are not separate from it. You are woven into its very heart, a thread that contributes to the whole, even when you cannot see the pattern. There is a quiet wisdom in accepting this truth, not as a burden, but as a liberation. When you understand that nothing happens by chance, you begin to see the world with new eyes. The challenges you face, the joys you experience, the people who cross your path, all are part of a greater unfolding. This does not mean that life is predetermined or that you have no agency. On the contrary, it means that your choices, your actions, your very presence are part of a dynamic, ever-changing web of relationships. You are both the weaver and the thread, the creator and the creation. Think of the way a single pebble, dropped into a still pond, sends ripples outward in all directions. Each ripple touches the shore, interacts with other ripples, and changes the surface of the water in ways that are both subtle and profound. So too do your actions ripple out into the world, touching lives and shaping events in ways you may never fully understand. And just as the pebble's impact is felt far beyond its initial splash, so too are the effects of your presence felt far beyond the boundaries of your immediate experience. This is not a call to self-importance, but a reminder of your interconnectedness, your place in the vast, flowing river of life. In moments of doubt or confusion, it can be comforting to remember this truth. When you feel lost, when the path ahead seems unclear, know that you are not adrift in a random sea. You are part of a current that has been flowing since the beginning of time, a current that carries you even when you cannot see the way. Trust in this flow, not because it will always take you where you want to go, but because it is the essence of life itself. To resist it is to struggle against the very nature of existence. To surrender to it is to find peace, not in the absence of difficulty, but in the acceptance of what is. There is a story told in many traditions of a man who, in his search for enlightenment, climbs a mountain to ask a wise teacher the meaning of life. When he finally reaches the summit, the teacher looks at him and says, "Everything is connected." The man, frustrated, replies, "But what does that mean?" The teacher smiles and says, "Everything is connected." At first, the man feels disappointed, as if he has been given a riddle instead of an answer. But as he descends the mountain, the words begin to settle in his heart. He notices the way the sunlight filters through the trees, the way the birds sing in harmony, the way his own breath rises and falls in rhythm with the world around him. And slowly he begins to understand. The answer was not in the words themselves, but in the way they opened his eyes to the truth that had always been there, waiting to be seen. You too are on a journey, though the path may not always be clear. There will be moments when you feel disconnected, when the threads that bind you to the world seem to fray. In those moments, remember that the connection is always there, even when you cannot see it. It is in the air you breathe, the ground beneath your feet, the beating of your heart. It is in the people you love, the strangers you pass on the street, the creatures that share this earth with you. It is in the challenges that shape you, the joys that uplift you, the quiet moments that remind you of who you are. Nothing happens by chance. Everything is connected. And so, as you move through your days, let this truth be a gentle guide. Do not seek to control the flow of life, but to align yourself with it. Do not fear the unknown, but trust in the wisdom of the unfolding. And when you find yourself in moments of stillness, like the one you are in now, let the awareness of your interconnectedness fill you with a sense of peace. For in this awareness, you are not alone. You are part of something vast and beautiful, a tapestry of life that is ever-changing, ever-growing, ever-connected. And in this connection, you find not only your place in the world, but the world within you. You sit quietly, perhaps in a moment of stillness, and the world around you hums with a rhythm that feels both familiar and mysterious. The air carries the faint scent of earth after rain, and the light filters through the leaves in patterns that seem to dance just for you. In this moment, you might wonder, is this all random, or is there something more? The thought lingers, soft and insistent, like the whisper of a breeze that brushes your skin but leaves no trace. And so, you begin to sense it, the truth that nothing happens by chance, that everything is connected, woven together in a tapestry so vast and intricate that its design can only be glimpsed in fragments. Consider the way a single leaf falls from a tree. It spirals downward, caught in currents of air you cannot see, and lands softly on the ground. It does not question its path, nor does it resist the wind that carries it. It simply is. And yet its journey is not isolated. The leaf's fall is shaped by the tree that nurtured it, the season that called it to let go, the soil that will receive it, and the countless other leaves that have fallen before it. Each moment, each movement is part of a larger flow, a dance of interdependence that has no beginning and no end. You too are part of this dance. Your thoughts, your actions, your very presence ripple outward, touching lives and shaping the world in ways you may never fully understand. There is a story in every breath you take, a story that began long before you were born and will continue long after you are gone. The air you inhale has traveled through forests and oceans, has been breathed by countless beings, and carries within it the essence of life itself. When you exhale, you release it back into the world, a gift to the universe. This exchange is not random. It is a reminder that you are not separate from the world around you, but deeply, inextricably connected to it. The boundaries you perceive between self and other, between past and future, between cause and effect, are illusions, thin veils that obscure the truth of unity. Think of the way a river flows. It does not struggle against the rocks in its path, nor does it lament the bends and turns that shape its course. It moves with a quiet certainty, trusting the journey. And yet every drop of water in that river is essential. Every ripple, every eddy contributes to the whole. The river does not ask why it flows. It simply flows. In the same way, your life is a river carrying you forward through moments of joy and sorrow, through stillness and turbulence. You may not always understand the purpose of each twist and turn, but there is a wisdom in the flow, a deeper knowing that transcends the mind's need for answers. There are times when you may feel adrift, as though the current has carried you far from where you thought you should be. In those moments, it is easy to resist, to cling to the shore, or to fight against the tide. But resistance only brings suffering. The river does not stop flowing because you wish it to be still. It continues on its path, as it must. And so too does life. When you release your grip, when you allow yourself to be carried, you begin to see that even the most challenging moments have their place in the greater design. They are not mistakes or punishments, but opportunities, invitations to grow, to learn, to deepen your understanding of yourself and the world. Consider the way a seed grows. It does not question the soil in which it is planted, nor does it doubt its ability to become a tree. It simply responds to the conditions around it, drawing nourishment from the earth and reaching toward the light. Its growth is not a solitary act, but a collaboration with the elements, with the rain and the sun, with the insects that pollinate its flowers, and the animals that carry its seeds to new places. In the same way, your life is a process of growth, shaped by the circumstances you encounter and the choices you make. You may not always see the purpose in the challenges you face, but they too are part of the journey, part of the unfolding of your true nature. There is a quiet beauty in accepting what is, in recognizing that every moment, every experience is exactly as it should be. This does not mean that you must like or approve of everything that happens, but rather that you can meet it with an open heart, with a willingness to see the deeper truth beneath the surface. When you do this, you begin to notice the threads that connect all things, the subtle ways in which the universe conspires to bring you exactly what you need, even if it is not what you thought you wanted. The loss of a job, the end of a relationship, the unexpected turn of events, these are not random occurrences, but part of a larger pattern, a tapestry of meaning that is being woven with every breath you take. There is a story of a monk who, after years of meditation, finally achieved enlightenment. When asked what he had learned, he smiled and said, "Nothing happens by chance." At first, this may seem like a simple statement, but its depth is profound. It is an invitation to see the world with new eyes, to recognize the interconnectedness of all things, and to trust in the flow of life. It is a reminder that even the smallest actions have consequences, that every thought, every word, every deed is part of the greater whole. And it is a call to live with awareness, to approach each moment with a sense of wonder and gratitude, knowing that it is exactly as it should be. As you sit here now, in this moment of stillness, you may begin to feel the truth of this. You may sense the threads that connect you to the world around you, the ways in which your life is intertwined with the lives of others, with the earth, with the cosmos. You may feel the flow of the river, the growth of the seed, the fall of the leaf. And in this feeling, there is a deep peace, a knowing that you are exactly where you need to be, that everything is unfolding as it should. This is not a passive acceptance, but an active engagement with life, a willingness to participate fully in the dance of existence, to trust in the wisdom of the universe, and to embrace the beauty of the present moment. And so you breathe. You feel the air moving in and out of your body, a reminder of the constant flow of life. You notice the sensations in your body, the thoughts in your mind, the emotions in your heart. You do not try to change them or judge them. You simply observe them, allowing them to be as they are. And in this observation, there is a sense of freedom, a release from the need to control or understand. You begin to see that everything is connected, that nothing happens by chance, and that the universe is unfolding exactly as it should. And in this seeing, there is peace. The world unfolds like a vast tapestry, each thread woven with intention. Though you may not always see the pattern, consider the way the wind carries seeds to fertile ground, or how the moon pulls the tides without ever touching the water. There is a quiet order to the chaos, a rhythm to the seemingly random. You stand at the center of it all, a single note in the symphony of existence. And yet you are also the listener, the observer, the one who senses the harmony beneath the noise. There are moments when you feel adrift, as though life is a series of disconnected events, each one pulling you in a different direction. You may wonder why certain things happen, why joy is followed by sorrow, why effort does not always yield reward. But what if, instead of resisting these questions, you allowed them to breathe? What if you saw them as part of a larger design, one that your mind cannot fully grasp but your soul already knows? Think of the way a tree grows. It does not question the soil it is planted in, nor does it resist the storms that shape its branches. It simply reaches for the light, bending when it must, but never breaking. It understands in its silent way that every challenge is also an opportunity, every loss a space for something new to take root. You too are like this tree. Your experiences, even the painful ones, are not mistakes or punishments. They are the very conditions that allow you to grow, to deepen, to become more fully yourself. Consider the spider's web, delicate yet strong, each strand connected to the next. If you were to trace a single thread, you would find that it leads you to the center where the spider rests. Every movement on the web sends a vibration, a signal, a reminder that nothing exists in isolation. Your life is like this web, intricately connected to the lives of others, to the world around you, to the universe itself. The choices you make, the words you speak, the thoughts you hold, they all ripple outward, touching everything in ways you may never fully comprehend. There is a Buddhist teaching that says, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. This is not just about people or events. It is about the readiness of the heart, the openness of the mind. When you are prepared to receive a truth, it will find you, often in the most unexpected ways. A conversation with a stranger, a line in a book, the way the sunlight filters through the trees, these can all be teachers if you are willing to listen. You may have noticed that certain patterns repeat in your life, certain lessons that seem to return no matter how far you travel. This is not a failure, but a sign that you are being called to deeper understanding. The universe is patient, and it will continue to offer you the same lesson until you are ready to see it clearly, to feel it fully, to let it transform you. There is a quiet power in acceptance, in allowing life to unfold as it will. This does not mean passivity or resignation. It means trusting that you are exactly where you need to be, even when the path is unclear. Think of the way a river flows around obstacles, never forcing its way through, but always finding a way forward. It does not resist the rocks or the bends. It simply moves with the land, carving its path over time. You too can learn to flow in this way, to trust the current of your own life, even when it leads you into the unknown. The seasons remind us that change is not only inevitable, but necessary. Winter gives way to spring, and spring to summer, each one bringing its own gifts and challenges. You cannot hold on to one season forever, nor can you skip ahead to the next. All you can do is be present with what is, to find the beauty and the wisdom in each moment. There is a story of a Zen master who, when asked how he found peace, replied, "I chop wood and carry water." This is not a call to simplicity, but to presence. It is a reminder that peace is not something you find outside yourself. It is something you cultivate within through the ordinary acts of living. When you are fully present, even the smallest moments become sacred, infused with meaning and connection. The truth is, nothing is random. Every encounter, every experience, every thought and feeling is part of a larger whole, a web of meaning that extends far beyond what you can see. You are not separate from this web. You are woven into it, a vital thread in the fabric of existence. When you begin to see your life in this way, you may find that the questions that once troubled you, why this, why now, why me, begin to lose their urgency. Instead, you may feel a quiet trust, a sense of belonging, a knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. And so, as you move through your days, allow yourself to be curious, to be open, to be present. Notice the way the world speaks to you, not in words, but in signs and symbols, in patterns and synchronicities. Listen with your heart, not just your mind, and you may begin to hear the deeper truth that has been there all along, that nothing happens by chance, that everything is connected, that you are part of something vast and beautiful and eternal. In this knowing, there is peace, not the kind of peace that comes from having all the answers, but the kind that comes from trusting the questions, from resting in the mystery, from allowing life to unfold as it will. And as you rest in this peace, you may find that the world begins to feel less like a puzzle to be solved and more like a gift to be received, a story to be lived, a song to be sung. Let this truth settle into you like a seed finding its way into the soil. Let it grow in its own time, in its own way. And when it blooms, as it surely will, let it remind you of who you are, of where you belong, of the infinite connections that surround you, within you always. The world unfolds before you like a vast, intricate tapestry, each thread woven with intention. Though the pattern may elude your sight, you stand at the edge of a forest, the trees whispering secrets in a language older than time. The breeze carries the scent of damp earth and the faint sweetness of wildflowers, and you feel for a moment that you are part of something far greater than yourself. This is not a random encounter with nature. It is a meeting ordained by the unseen hands of existence. Nothing happens by chance, though the reasons may remain hidden, like the roots of these ancient trees, buried deep beneath the surface. Consider the way a single leaf falls from a branch, spiraling gently to the ground. It does not resist the pull of gravity, nor does it question its path. It simply lets go, trusting the flow of life to carry it where it needs to be. And yet that leaf is not alone in its journey. It is connected to the tree that nurtured it, to the soil that will receive it, to the insects that will break it down, and to the new life that will spring from its decay. Every movement, every moment is part of a vast, interconnected dance. You too are part of this dance, though you may not always feel the rhythm. There is a quiet wisdom in the way nature operates, a wisdom that speaks of acceptance and surrender. The river does not fight against the rocks in its path. It flows around them, shaping them over time. The seasons do not cling to their beauty or resist their passing. They embrace the cycle of change, knowing that each phase has its purpose. And yet, as humans, we often struggle against the currents of our own lives. We resist what is, clinging to what was or yearning for what could be. We forget that every experience, every encounter, every challenge is a thread in the tapestry of our existence, woven with care and intention. Perhaps you have felt the weight of uncertainty, the ache of not knowing why certain things have happened to you. You may have asked yourself, why me? Or, what did I do to deserve this? These questions are natural, born of a mind that seeks to make sense of the world. But the answers you seek may not come in the form of words or explanations. They may come in the quiet moments of stillness, when you allow yourself to simply be, to observe, to feel. In those moments, you may begin to sense the deeper currents that guide your life, the invisible threads that connect you to everything around you. Think of a time when something unexpected happened, something that seemed to disrupt the flow of your life. At first, it may have felt like a mistake, a deviation from the path you had envisioned. But as time passed, you may have noticed that this event led you to a place you could not have reached otherwise. It may have opened doors you did not know existed, or brought you into contact with people who changed your life in profound ways. This is the nature of the interconnectedness of all things. What appears to be a detour may, in fact, be the very path you were meant to take. There is a story in Buddhist tradition about a farmer whose horse ran away. His neighbors came to console him, saying, "What bad luck?" The farmer replied, "Maybe." The next day, the horse returned, bringing with it a herd of wild horses. The neighbors exclaimed, "What good luck!" The farmer again replied, "Maybe." Later, the farmer's son tried to ride one of the wild horses and was thrown off, breaking his leg. The neighbor said, "What bad luck?" The farmer's response was the same. "Maybe." Soon after, soldiers came to the village to conscript young men for war, but the farmer's son was spared because of his injury. The neighbor said, "What good luck?" And the farmer once more replied, "Maybe." This story is a reminder that life is not always what it seems. What we perceive as good or bad, fortunate or unfortunate, is often a matter of perspective. The farmer's wisdom lies in his ability to accept each event as it comes, without judgment or attachment. He understands that the true nature of things is often hidden, and that the full picture may only become clear with time. You too can cultivate this kind of wisdom, not by seeking to control or understand everything, but by learning to trust the flow of life. Imagine yourself standing on the shore of a vast ocean, the waves rolling in and out with a rhythm that is both constant and ever-changing. Each wave carries with it the potential for something new: a shell, a piece of driftwood, a message in a bottle. You cannot predict what the next wave will bring, nor can you control it. All you can do is stand there open and receptive, ready to receive whatever comes your way. This is the essence of acceptance. Not resignation, but a deep trust in the process of life. There is a profound peace that comes from this kind of trust, a peace that is not dependent on external circumstances. It is the peace of knowing that you are part of something greater, that your life is unfolding exactly as it should, even if you cannot see the bigger picture. It is the peace of letting go of the need to know, to control, to understand. It is the peace of simply being. As you walk through the forest, you notice the way the sunlight filters through the leaves, casting dappled shadows on the ground. You hear the distant call of a bird, the rustle of leaves in the wind, the soft crunch of twigs beneath your feet. Each sound, each sight, is a reminder of the interconnectedness of all things. You are not separate from this world. You are part of it, just as the leaf is part of the tree, the wave is part of the ocean, the breath is part of the air. And so, as you continue on your journey, remember this: nothing happens by chance. Every experience, every encounter, every moment is part of the intricate web of life. You may not always understand the reasons, but you can trust that there is a purpose, a meaning, a connection. You can trust that you are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you need to do. And in that trust, you will find a deep and abiding peace, a peace that flows through you like a river, carrying you gently, effortlessly to the next moment, the next breath, the next step on your path. Imagine for a moment the vastness of a forest, not just any forest, but one that stretches endlessly in every direction, its canopy a mosaic of green and gold, its roots entwined beneath the earth in a silent, ancient conversation. Each tree stands alone, yet each is connected to the other by threads unseen. Mycelium weaving a network of life, a hidden map of interdependence. This forest, in its quiet wisdom, does not question why it exists. It does not resist the wind that bends its branches or the rain that nourishes its roots. It simply is. And in that being, it embodies a truth that whispers to you now, if you are willing to listen. Nothing happens by chance. You have felt this before, haven't you? In the quiet moments, perhaps, when the world slows and you are left alone with your thoughts. A thought drifts in like a leaf on a breeze, and suddenly you see it. A pattern, a connection, a thread that ties one moment to another, one person to another, one life to another. It is as if the universe is not a series of random events, but a tapestry, each stitch deliberate, each color chosen with care. And yet, this understanding often slips away, buried beneath the noise of daily life, the urgency of plans, the weight of expectations. Let us return to the forest. Consider the fall of a single leaf. It does not fall because it is tired or because it has decided its time has come. It falls because the season has changed, because the wind has shifted, because the earth has tilted ever so slightly on its axis. The leaf does not resist its fall. It does not cling to the branch in fear. It lets go, And in that letting go, it becomes part of the soil, part of the cycle, part of the endless flow of life. And so it is with you. You are not separate from this flow. You are not an isolated event, a random occurrence in a chaotic world. You are part of a greater whole, a thread in the tapestry, a note in the symphony. And yet, how often do you resist this truth? How often do you fight against the currents of your life, trying to control, to fix, to rearrange? How often do you look at the events of your life, the joy, the sorrow, the unexpected turns, and ask, why me? Why this? Why now? But what if you didn't ask? What if, instead of questioning, you simply observed? What if, like the leaf, you trusted the fall? This is not to say that life will always be easy, that the path will always be clear. There will be storms that shake you, winds that bend you, seasons that strip you bare. But even in these moments, there is a deeper truth at work. The storm does not come to destroy you. It comes to reshape you. The wind does not blow to break you. It blows to carry you to a new place. The season does not change to leave you behind. It changes to remind you that nothing is permanent, that everything is in motion. And so, when you find yourself in the midst of a storm, when the winds of change are howling around you, take a moment to pause. Breathe deeply. Feel the ground beneath your feet, solid and unchanging. Remember that you are not alone, that you are part of something larger, something that cannot be explained but can only be felt. And in that feeling, there is peace. There is a story told in many traditions of a monk who asks his teacher, "Why is there suffering?" The teacher responds, "Why is there the sun? Why is there the moon? Why is there the rain?" The monk, confused, asks again, "But why is there suffering?" The teacher smiles and says, "The sun rises, the moon sets, the rain falls, and so it is with suffering. It is not for you to understand, it is for you to accept." Acceptance does not mean resignation. It does not mean giving up or giving in. It means seeing things as they are, without judgment, without resistance. It means trusting that even in the darkest moments, there's a light you cannot see, a path you cannot yet follow. It means knowing that every experience, every person, every moment is connected, that nothing is wasted, that everything has its place in the greater whole. Think of a river. It does not question its course. It does not fight against the rocks or the bends in its path. It flows, and in that flowing, it carves canyons, nourishes fields, gives life to countless creatures. The river does not know where it is going, but it knows how to move. And so it is with you. You do not need to know where you are going. You do not need to understand every twist and turn in your path. You only need to trust the flow, to let yourself be carried by the currents of your life. And when you do, you will find that everything is connected, that nothing is out of place, that every moment, every experience, every person is exactly where they are meant to be. This is the truth that the forest knows, that the river knows, that the leaf knows as it falls. And it is the truth that whispers to you now, if you are willing to listen. Nothing happens by chance. Everything is connected, and you are a part of it all. There is a stillness in the air today, a quiet hum that you can almost hear if you listen closely. It is the kind of stillness that wraps around you like a soft shawl, reminding you that the world moves at its own pace, and you are not separate from its rhythm. You are here in this moment, and there is a reason for it. You may not yet see the threads that weave through your life, but they are there, delicate and strong, connecting every breath, every choice, every encounter. Nothing happens by accident. Everything is part of a larger tapestry, though your eyes may only catch glimpses of its pattern. Think of the way a single leaf falls from a tree. It seems to drift aimlessly, carried by the whims of the wind, but even its descent is governed by forces unseen. Gravity, air currents, the subtle tilt of the earth. And when it lands, it does not disappear. It becomes part of the soil, feeding the roots of the very tree it fell from. The leaf's journey is not random, It is a small, sacred dance in the grand symphony of existence. And so it is with you. Every step you take, every word you speak, every thought that crosses your mind, they are all part of the symphony. You are both the dancer and the dance. You may wonder, in moments of doubt or pain, why certain things happen to you. Why do you face challenges that seem insurmountable? Why do you feel lost in the labyrinth of your own life? These questions, though natural, arise from a mind that seeks to divide the world into good and bad, right and wrong. But the universe does not operate in such binary terms. It is a vast interconnected web, where every event is both cause and effect, where every moment is both an ending and a beginning. The storm that uproots a tree also clears the way for new growth. The heartbreak that shatters you also opens you to deeper understanding. There is no event, no experience, that does not carry within it the seeds of transformation. Consider the way a river flows. It does not resist the rocks in its path. It moves around them, over them, sometimes even through them. It does not stop to ask if the rocks belong there, if they are fair or unfair. It simply flows. And in its flowing, it shapes the landscape, carving canyons, nourishing the earth, giving life to countless creatures along its banks. The river does not struggle against its journey. It trusts the path it is on, and so can you. When you encounter obstacles in your life, you can choose to see them as interruptions, or you can see them as part of the flow, necessary, even sacred in their own way. They are not here to defeat you. They are here to teach you, to guide you, to shape you into the person you are becoming. In this moment, take a deep breath and feel the weight of your own existence. You are here, alive, breathing, thinking, feeling. This is no small thing. It is a miracle, a gift, a mystery. And yet it is also the most ordinary thing in the world. Every being, every blade of grass, every star in the sky shares in this same miracle. You are not separate from the world around you. You are part of it, deeply and irrevocably connected. The air you breathe has been breathed by countless others before you. The water you drink has flowed through rivers, oceans, clouds, and the bodies of living beings. You are not an isolated island, adrift in a vast sea. You are a drop in the ocean, and the ocean is in you. There is a Buddhist teaching that speaks of dependent origination, the idea that all phenomena arise in dependence upon causes and conditions. Nothing exists in isolation. Everything is interconnected. Your joy is not yours alone. It is tied to the joy of others. Your pain is not yours alone. It is tied to the pain of others. When you begin to see the world in this way, you realize that your actions, your thoughts, your very presence have a ripple effect that extends far beyond what you can see. You are not powerless. You are a participant in the unfolding of the universe, a co-creator of the reality you inhabit. And yet there is no need to grasp at this understanding, to cling to it or force it into being. It is enough to simply notice, to observe, to allow. You do not need to have all the answers. You do not need to know why things happen the way they do. What you need is to trust in the flow of life, in the wisdom of the universe, in the inherent goodness of your own heart. Trust does not mean passivity. It means being open, receptive, willing to move with the current rather than against it. It means knowing that even in the midst of chaos, there is a deeper order, a deeper harmony. There is a story of a Zen master who was asked, "What is the meaning of life?" He replied, "The meaning of life is to live." At first, this may seem like a simple, even dismissive answer, but consider it more deeply. To live is not just to exist, to go through the motions. To live is to be fully present, to engage with each moment as it comes, to embrace both the light and the shadow. It is to be like the river, flowing without resistance, trusting the path it is on. It is to be like the leaf, falling with grace, knowing that its journey is part of something greater. You do not need to search for meaning outside of yourself. It is already here within you, within every breath, every heartbeat. It is in the way the sun rises each morning, the way the moon casts its silver light on the earth at night. It is in the laughter of a child, the touch of a loved one, the quiet moments of solitude when you feel most at peace. Meaning is not something to be found, it is something to be experienced. And it is experienced most fully when you let go of the need to control, to understand, to categorize. When you simply allow yourself to be. There will be times when you feel lost, when the path ahead seems unclear. In those moments, remember that you are not alone. You are part of something vast and beautiful, something that holds you even when you cannot feel it. You are like a tree, rooted deeply in the earth, reaching toward the sky. The winds may shake you, the storms may bend you, but you remain grounded, connected, alive. And when the storm passes, you will find that you have grown stronger, wiser, more resilient. So today, as you move through your life, carry this truth with you. Nothing happens by chance. Everything is connected. You are connected. And in this connection, there is peace, there is understanding, there is love. You do not need to do anything to earn it or prove it. It is simply here, waiting for you to notice, to embrace, to embody. Let it be your guide, your anchor, your light. Let it remind you that you are exactly where you need to be, that you are exactly who you need to be. And in this knowing, there is freedom, there is joy, there is life. The world unfolds before you like a vast, intricate tapestry, each thread woven with intention, though the pattern may elude your sight. You stand at the center of this design, a single point in the grand mosaic, and yet you are also the weaver, the observer, and the thread itself. Nothing happens by chance, though it may seem so in the fleeting moments of confusion or despair. Every event, every encounter, every breath is a stitch in the fabric of existence, connected to the whole in ways that transcend the linear mind's understanding. To truly grasp this is to step into a deeper awareness, one that does not demand answers, but instead rests in the quiet certainty that all is as it must be. Consider the forest, where every tree, every leaf, every root is bound by an unseen network of life. The towering oak does not question why it grows where it does. It simply reaches for the sky, its roots entwined with the earth, its branches sheltering the creatures that depend on it. The fallen log, decaying in the undergrowth, does not lament its fate. It becomes the soil from which new life will spring. The forest does not resist the changing seasons. It embraces them, knowing that each phase, the lushness of summer, the decay of autumn, the stillness of winter, the rebirth of spring, is essential to its existence. In this way, the forest teaches you a profound truth. There is no separation, no randomness, only the eternal flow of interconnectedness. You too are part of this flow, though it may not always feel that way. When life feels chaotic or uncertain, it is easy to believe that you are adrift, a leaf tossed by the wind, subject to forces beyond your control. But even the leaf is guided by currents unseen, carried to a destination that is not random but inevitable. The challenges you face, the joys you experience, the people who cross your path, all are part of a larger design, one that you may not fully comprehend but can learn to trust. This trust is not passive, it is an active surrender, a willingness to let go of the need to control and instead to flow with the river of life, knowing that it will carry you where you need to go. There is a quiet wisdom in the way the river moves, never rushing, never hesitating, always finding its way. It does not resist the rocks in its path. It flows around them, shaping them over time. It does not cling to the banks. It moves forward, nourishing the land as it goes. The river does not question its purpose. It simply is, and in its being, it fulfills its role in the greater ecosystem. You too can learn from the river. When you encounter obstacles, you can choose to flow around them, trusting that they are not barriers but opportunities for growth. When you feel the pull of attachment, you can let go, knowing that holding on too tightly only creates suffering. When you doubt your purpose, you can simply be, allowing your presence to ripple out into the world in ways you may never fully understand. The seasons, too, offer a lesson in acceptance. Each season has its own rhythm, its own gifts, its own challenges. The heat of summer gives way to the coolness of autumn, the barrenness of winter to the renewal of spring. You do not mourn the passing of one season or cling to the arrival of another. You accept each as it comes, knowing that it is part of a cycle that is both eternal and ever-changing. In the same way, the seasons of your life, times of growth, times of loss, times of stillness, times of transformation, are not random but necessary. Each has its place in the larger pattern, and each brings its own wisdom if you are open to receiving it. In the stillness of meditation, you may begin to sense this interconnectedness, not as an abstract concept, but as a lived experience. As you sit in silence, you may notice the rise and fall of your breath, the beating of your heart, the flow of your thoughts. You may feel the connection between your body and the earth beneath you, the air around you, the sky above you. You may sense that you are not separate from the world, but a part of it, a thread in the tapestry, a drop in the river, a leaf on the tree. In this awareness, there is a profound peace, a knowing that all is well, even when it does not seem so. This peace does not come from understanding everything. It comes from accepting that you do not need to. The mind may seek answers, but the heart knows that the questions themselves are part of the journey. The search for meaning is not a destination, but a path, one that winds through the forest, follows the river, and moves with the seasons. Along the way, you will encounter moments of clarity and moments of confusion, moments of joy and moments of sorrow. Each is a gift, a thread in the tapestry, a step on the path. To say that nothing happens by chance is not to deny the reality of suffering or the complexity of life. It is to recognize that even in the midst of pain, there is a deeper order, a hidden harmony. The broken pieces of your heart, the scars on your soul, the questions that keep you awake at night, all are part of the design, all are connected to the whole. You do not need to fix or change or understand them. You only need to accept them, to hold them with compassion, to see them as part of the journey. In this acceptance, there is freedom. You are no longer bound by the need to control, to resist, to cling. You are free to flow with the river, to grow with the tree, to move with the seasons. You are free to be simply and fully, knowing that you are part of something greater, something that cannot be named but can be felt in the stillness of your heart. This is the spiritual truth that whispers to you today, not as a command but as an invitation to trust, to accept, to flow, to be. And in this, you will find the peace that has always been within you, waiting to be discovered. The world unfolds before you like a vast, intricate tapestry, each thread interwoven with the next, a delicate dance of cause and effect. You step into this tapestry, a single thread yourself, and yet you are also the weaver, the observer, the one who feels the pull and tug of every connection. Nothing happens by chance, though it may seem so when you stand too close, when the patterns blur into a chaotic mess of color and texture. Step back and you begin to see the harmony, the way every stitch is placed with intention, even if that intention is not your own. The universe whispers this truth in the rustle of leaves, in the ebb and flow of tides, in the quiet moments between breaths. Everything is connected, and in that connection, there is a profound wisdom waiting to be understood. Consider the forest, dense and alive, each tree rooted in the same earth, drawing nourishment from the same soil. The roots tangle and intertwine, unseen, yet they communicate, share, support. A tree may fall, and its decay feeds the soil, giving life to new growth. The wind that carries its seeds to distant places is not random. It is part of a larger rhythm, a cycle that has no beginning and no end. You too are part of this cycle. The choices you make, the paths you walk, the people you meet, they are not isolated events. They are threads, pulling and being pulled, creating a pattern that is uniquely yours, yet inseparable from the whole. There are moments when this truth feels heavy, when the weight of connection presses upon you, and you wonder if you are strong enough to bear it. But consider the river, always moving, always flowing, never resisting its path. It does not question the rocks that block its way or the bends that slow its pace. It simply flows, carving its course with patience and persistence. The river does not struggle against what is. It accepts, and in that acceptance, it finds its strength. You too can find strength in acceptance. The events of your life, the joys and the sorrows, the triumphs and the losses, they are not obstacles to overcome, but experiences to flow through. They shape you, mold you, guide you toward a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. In the stillness of meditation, you may begin to sense this interconnectedness, not as an abstract concept, but as a lived reality. The breath you take is the same breath that has been breathed by countless beings before you, the same breath that will be breathed by countless beings after you. The air you exhale becomes part of the atmosphere, part of the wind that carries the seeds of the forest, part of the life that sustains the earth. In this moment, you are not separate. You are one with all that is. This realization can be both humbling and liberating. It reminds you that you are not alone, that your life is not a solitary journey, but a shared one, a dance of give and take, of receiving and offering. Yet there is a paradox here, a delicate balance to be found. While everything is connected, you are also unique, a singular expression of the universe, a thread with its own color and texture. Your path is yours alone, and yet it is also part of the greater tapestry. This duality is not a contradiction, but a harmony, a reminder that you are both individual and collective, both separate and one. Embrace this paradox, and you will find a deeper sense of peace, a quiet knowing that you are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you need to do. The seasons change, and with them, the world transforms. The leaves fall, the snow blankets the earth, the flowers bloom, the sun warms the soil. Each season has its purpose, its role in the cycle of life. You too go through seasons, moments of growth and moments of rest, moments of joy and moments of sorrow. These seasons are not random. They are part of your journey, part of your unfolding. Do not resist them. Embrace them, for they are the threads that weave the tapestry of your life. In the winter of your soul, when the world feels cold and barren, remember that spring will come. In the summer of your joy, when everything feels alive and vibrant, remember that autumn will follow. Each season has its beauty, its lessons, its gifts. There is a quiet wisdom in the natural world, a wisdom that speaks to the heart rather than the mind. The trees do not rush to grow. They trust in the process, in the rhythm of the seasons. The river does not struggle to flow. It simply moves with the current. The stars do not question their place in the sky. They shine with the light that is theirs to give. You too can find this wisdom within yourself, in the quiet spaces between thoughts, in the moments of stillness when the mind is calm and the heart is open. In these moments, you may begin to sense the truth that everything is connected, that nothing happens by chance, that you are part of something greater than yourself. This truth is not something to be grasped or understood with the mind alone. It is something to be felt, to be lived, to be experienced in the depths of your being. It is a truth that unfolds slowly, like the petals of a flower, revealing its beauty in its own time. Be patient with yourself. Trust in the process. Know that you are exactly where you need to be, and that everything that happens is part of your journey, part of your unfolding. The tapestry of your life is still being woven, and each thread, each moment, is essential to the whole. In the end, there is no need to seek or strive, no need to force or resist. Simply be present, be open, be aware. In this presence, this openness, this awareness, you will find the peace that comes from knowing that everything is connected, that nothing happens by chance, that you are part of something greater than yourself. And in this peace, you will find the freedom to live fully, to love deeply, to be truly yourself. The universe is not separate from you, it is within you, and you are within it. Everything is connected, and in that connection, there is a profound and beautiful truth waiting to be discovered. The world moves in patterns unseen, like the silent shifting of sand beneath a vast desert. Each grain, though tiny, is part of a greater whole, and every movement, no matter how small, ripples outward in ways you cannot always perceive. You stand at the center of this vastness, a single thread woven into an infinite tapestry. Nothing happens in isolation, for everything is connected, bound by a thread so fine it seems invisible, yet so strong it holds the universe together. To understand this is to glimpse the essence of life itself, a flowing, unbroken current that carries you forward, whether you are aware of it or not. Think of the seasons, how they turn without effort, how winter gives way to spring, and spring to summer, each one dependent on the other. You too are part of this cycle. The moments of your life are not random. They are seasons, each with its own purpose, its own lesson. The cold of winter may feel barren, yet it is necessary for the seeds of spring to take root. The heat of summer may feel overwhelming, yet it ripens the fruit that nourishes you. Even the fall, with its shedding of leaves, teaches the beauty of letting go. You cannot control the turning of the seasons, nor can you rush their passage. But you can learn to move with them, to accept their rhythm as your own. Consider the sky above, vast and unchanging in its presence, yet ever shifting in its form. Clouds drift across it, some heavy with rain, others light as feathers. They come and go, and yet the sky remains unharmed, untouched. Your mind is like this sky. Thoughts and emotions pass through it, sometimes stormy, sometimes calm. They are not you, but they are part of your experience. To cling to them is to lose sight of the vastness that holds them. To resist them is to create turbulence where there could be peace. Instead, let them be. Watch them as you would watch clouds, with curiosity but without attachment. They will pass, and in their passing you will find clarity. The earth beneath your feet is steady, unyielding, yet it is also alive, teeming with life you cannot see. Roots stretch deep into its darkness, drawing nourishment from the unseen. In the same way, your own roots are hidden, reaching into the depths of your being, connecting you to something greater than yourself. These roots are your essence, your source of strength. They are not always visible, but they are always there, grounding you, sustaining you. When you feel lost, remember them. Feel their presence, their quiet power. You are not adrift, you are anchored. Life is a river, not a straight path. It bends, it twists, it slows, it quickens. You cannot predict its course, nor can you control its flow, but you can trust it. The river knows where it is going, even when you do not. It carries you not toward a destination, but toward the ocean of all that is. Along the way, it may bring you to places of beauty and places of challenge, but each is part of the journey. To resist the current is to struggle against the very thing that sustains you. Instead, surrender to it. Let it carry you. Trust that it knows the way. In the stillness of the early morning, when the world is quiet and the light is soft, you can sometimes feel this connection. It is a whisper, a gentle reminder that you are not alone, that you are part of something vast and beautiful. In these moments, the mind quiets, the heart opens, and you see with clarity what is always there but often overlooked. You see that every moment, every experience is part of a greater whole. Nothing is wasted, nothing is without purpose. Even the pain, the loss, the uncertainty, these too have their place. They are not mistakes, but threads in the tapestry, colors in the painting. You may wonder why things happen as they do, why certain events unfold in your life. The answer is not always clear, for the mind seeks reasons, explanations, while the heart knows that some things are beyond understanding. Yet even in the not knowing, there is peace. To accept what is without judgment, without resistance, is to align yourself with the flow of life. It is to trust that everything is as it should be, even when it feels otherwise. This is not resignation, but a deep and profound acceptance, a recognition that life is not something to be conquered, but something to be lived. The heart is like a garden, fertile and full of potential. It can hold both joy and sorrow, love and loss, and still remain whole. It does not ask why, it simply is. To tend to this garden is to cultivate inner peace, to nurture the seeds of compassion, understanding, and acceptance. It is to let go of the need to control, to fix, to change, and instead to simply be. In this being, you find stillness, and in this stillness, you find truth. Nothing happens by chance, for everything is connected. This is not a belief, but a knowing, a deep and unshakable truth that resides within you. It is the thread that weaves through every moment, every experience, every breath. To see this, to feel this, is to awaken to the beauty of life, to its mystery, its complexity, its simplicity. It is to recognize that you are both the river and the ocean, the cloud and the sky, the seed and the tree. You are part of the pattern, the flow, the whole, and in this recognition, you find peace.